Once again, this is another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Otis Smith. I got somebody for you guys today that I didn't think I was going to pull off and get, but you got to reach for the stars. My
Oh,
next guest,
come on,
my
Otis.
next
Come on.
guest is from a blessed family, the Winans. He has his own solo project, Once in a Lifetime. It's a very nice groove. I love the song. He's got another song out called Misunderstood. Very a blessed song for you to hear. His even his son has followed in his footsteps as a songwriter. You saw his daughter Deborah Joy Winans on the show Greenleaf. I'm talking no other than Mr. Carvin Winans. Thank you, sir, for coming on and blessing us with your presence.
Thank you for having me, Otis. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother.
It's so fun. I had to do the research because my wife and I, we watched Greenleaf from season one to the
Right,
end, and
right.
it was always like, well, which? Okay, so who's her daddy? Who is it? Marvin? No. Well, who is it? Well,
There's so many of us, I can see people doing that.
well, the thing is, I mean, all you have to do is look it up. We just
Yeah.
didn't take the time to look it up, and it was man, I hated to see it. I said they didn't kill Bishop. They didn't kill Bishop out. How you gonna kill Bishop? They killed Bishop out the show.
Well, on those shows, Otis, you gotta do something to keep people,
Yeah,
interested.
yeah. When you get to the,
You know.
well, when you get to the end, somebody gonna die.
Oh yeah, you know that.
Somebody dying.
Absolutely.
My first question for you is what kind of joy was it, and still is for you, to when you perform with your family, which it could be any of your brothers, your sisters. What kind of joy is that for you?
It's a lot of joy because we grew up singing with each other, right? My mom
Hmm.
and dad had us singing ever since we were like 3 and 4 years old, and so that's pretty much all I knew was singing with my family. We were like a quartet group. My dad loved quartet music, and
Right.
we started out as the Winaires.
Okay.
That was a good quartet name, but it's fun to sing with your family. I think through our career, we were able to kind of keep each other together, hold each other down, lift each other up.
Sure.
When you look back there, you see family back there. It's just very encouraging and very uplifting to know that your family always has your back. So it was fun. It was fun, and I spent most of my career with Marv and my twin
Right.
Ronald, who's passed on now, and Michael.
Right.
And then I got a chance to sing with BB, with me, Marvin, and BB did the
Yes.
WB album. But I've been on stage, when we did the family tour, I was on stage with
Sure.
all of them. And so we just had a blast. It's always been fun.
In that same vein, far as the joy with your family, how was that? I mean, you for singing, gospel. Well, I'm sorry, contemporary gospel. It was contemporary then. You know what's so funny is you guys at that time, as you know, was like, whoa. Some people didn't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
but that's quiet compared to now. That's that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, compared to now, I guess we came out of the box doing a kind of new thing, because, and I
Sure.
credit that to my twin brother, because Marvin did a lot of writing when we were kids. We were out playing football, the rest of us, and he was
Hmm.
piano writing. And so when time came for us to record our first album, he had so many songs that he had composed, and they were come from a young person's point of view. And
Sure.
so when we started recording, it was so funny, Otis, because a lot of people in the church, though our lyrics were very Bible based and sound in lyrics, the beat just threw people off. They didn't think you could have that kind of beat and it be called gospel music. Well, we just felt that God had called us to kind of reach our generation, and so we kind of just we heard him, but then we felt we had to do what we were led to do, and so the
I,
rest.
th- I thank you for it because at that time I was in a choir here in Atlanta, the Young Voices of Elizabeth,
Okay.
and oh, we were smoking, dog. Let me tell you something. We were now listen. We were rated like the top youth choir in Georgia.
Okay.
And we took our cue from influencers like you guys. That because you made the gospel attractive. You know,
Yeah.
you reach, you know, I used to tell my mom all the time, even like when Kurt Franklin came on the scene, I said, he's just not your flavor. That's
Right.
all that is. It's he's just not your flavor. But like you said, it's the words that make it gospel.
That's
So
right.
I salute you and your family for that. Now now I knew who you was talking about, but tell me they kind of first they kind of threw us off at first because you know it was so because remember it was you and your brothers, right? It
Right.
was you all first,
Right.
and remember then BB and Cece.
Yeah.
So we hadn't, you know, you didn't have social media like you have now.
Right.
So
Right.
you like, well, wait, are they married? What
Yeah,
who?
we got that from a lot of people, you know.
Yeah.
When Stevie and Beatty would hear that, they say, "Oh no, I ain't married. That's my brother. That's my sister," you know.
That's what I said, yeah.
Yeah, but by you know being that duo, and they were such a to me they were I would say, and I'm not just saying because they're my brother and sister, but I thought they were kind of the best girl male female duo I'd ever heard, really.
Man, listen, but when you go back and listen to the lyrics,
Hmm.
and I look back, even like now, I go back, I say, man, what a love song to the Lord.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
and it's just that, you know, in that time frame, gospel looked and sound and was wrote a certain way.
right,
Like when you and your family came on the scene, like you said, if you didn't know what to do with it because it was something new.
right.
But hey, God said,
It
behold, I
was
come to
something
do a
new.
new thing.
It was something new, Otis, but it was also from a
Mhm.
young person's perspective. It was
Right.
always from. It was always that as a young person, you go through things, right? So
Right.
you write, and you kind of, want to tell your story, but you don't realize there's other people going through that same thing. And that's why people were so attracted to that. So, oh man, they going through that too,
Yeah.
And so we just tried to write from where we were at the time. And so, some people in the church they got it, they didn't understand it, and that was okay. We didn't worry about that because we felt that God had called us to do what we had to do. So
I'm glad you guys didn't worry about it. I'm glad because the
anyway,
music today still bless me.
thank you.
What inspires you to write and produce music?
Life, life, life. Even on this new solo project, it's. I went through a thing before, I got remarried,
Mm.
and really, I really fell in love, with my current wife, and I wrote the song "You Blow My Mind," a song for Cherie. I wrote that for our wedding, and
Okay,
so you go through life, you go through different experiences,
sure.
and you write from that. It's not that it's a new story, but it's your story, and
Right.
you just don't know who else is going through that, right? And so,
Correct.
what inspires me to write is just life itself and life through the eyes of what I think God is showing me. And sometimes it's for me. It is not really I'm writing for other people. I write for
It's
me.
for you. Right.
So, and then in writing for, like I said, in writing for yourself, you find out that so many other people are going through that same thing, and it touches them.
That's good. I like that. I like that because sometimes, like you said, you have to write from your perspective. It's not so much that you're trying to find something that inspires everybody else. You
Right.
you
Exactly.
finding what's getting you through.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What with your, I mean, man, first of all, I mean, you got mom and daddy can sing, right? You got,
Oh, my mom and dad could sing. My
I,
mom and dad could sing us under a table.
but that's what I'm saying. You talking. It's one thing to have the kids can sing, but then when you got the leaders, the foundation of the family,
That's
they can
right.
sing.
Right.
Then your brothers, your people, your siblings behind you. How did you find Carvin's voice?
Well, I think we had help in the beginning because in the beginning, like I said, my dad and mom worked with the older,
Hmm.
siblings in the family, which was David, Ronald, myself, and Marvin. And so my dad, at a young age, my mom and dad, they kind of taught us, to develop our ear of how to sing. And so I kind of found my niche in that because my dad was kind of tough on us in finding harmony parts.
Sure.
And I really listened and keyed in and kind of found where I was, right?
Okay.
And it's so funny because when you're in a group, you can't be anybody but yourself. I
Right.
can't, though Marvin is my twin and probably the closest thing to me because we came here together, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so, but I couldn't be him.
Right.
I could not be him. And so what I had to find in growing up in music and taking things my mom and dad taught us, and even the singing within the group, I had to find Carvin, like you said. I had to find my voice, you know.
Right.
So I started doing a lot of falsetto things. I started doing some natural stuff. But Marvin mainly did the natural stuff. But I found my niche with that falsetto thing, right? And so,
Right.
and then even in growing in that, when we were going to the studio and record, I kind of found my natural, you know, the
Okay.
head voice.
Right.
So and still today I learn. I tell people you never stop learning your craft because I mean if you enjoy it, and I do enjoy singing, I do enjoy writing,
Sure.
and I don't think you ever learn all that you need to learn. You're constantly learning, and so I'm still constantly finding myself even when it comes to vocalizing and writing. You know, so and I think that's the beauty of it all.
You know who just told me that? I'm talking about today. Who just told me that today? Mervin Warren.
Oh,
He just
Mervin, man, I ain't seen Mervin in years. I saw Take Six a couple years back, but I
he
haven't seen
just
Mervin in years.
I
He's
just interviewed him 2 hours ago,
wow.
and I asked him because he has a master's in music,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
and he said the same thing that you just said. You never stop learning, even though you can have this at you're still learning your craft. You still
Still learning.
oh,
And
oh,
we've been blessed. The Winans, I mean, we're in the Hall of Fame, Gospel Music Hall of Fame. We worked at everybody, won every award you could possibly win, I think, in music. And you still learning your craft. When I went into the studio to do the solo record,
mm-hmm.
uh, I had a I had such a wonderful opportunity to work with so many wonderful people. My wife, Cherie, she was co-write on pretty much all the songs, not all of them, but you know, a couple of them she didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
But I worked with Tommy Sims. I worked with Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. Worked with the young kid that did Once in a Lifetime, Carlos Beatty,
That's
and just on and on is just. And the thing the thing about working with yourself,
mm-hmm.
the thing was I didn't have to try to get any co-signing from any of my brothers.
Right,
Or nobody saying, "Oh, that don't sound right. Oh, you should do that." You know,
right.
that was the beauty of it. You know, though I did when you look around the studio, I didn't see them. That kind of was kind of like really different for me. But
Sure.
um, just going out on my own and trying to do that, it was just a wonderful experience, and just working with different people that we were able to bring to the table, such as Stevie Wonder. Well, we had worked with Stevie before and Kenny G, but
Saw that.
my solo record, it was wonderful for me.
When I saw that, I said, "Oh man, he need to call another saxophonist I know." I said, "Man, he need to call Najee. He need to call."
And it's funny. We worked with Najee at the years ago. We did the Montrose Jazz with the
Okay.
and Najee was in a band, and he played on our set. And he did When You Cry. We did When You Cry. And we were going back and forth with the all
The
the
falsetto
scatting,
in the horn.
the scat and all that, you know. But Najee's incredible. I saw your interview with him too.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
He's
Uh,
incredible. Great interview.
I tell you what, I'm gonna put you up here because you know, and when they would talk, I always talk about Brian McKnight and his falsetto. I was like, wait a minute, I know a dude over and over there because man, listen, when you hit that on tomorrow, man, that's not an easy thing to go get that note. But also the way you do it, because it's such a beautiful tone and texture to it, to end it. And so you have one of the great falsetto voices, man, of all times. So
Thank you, man. You know, it's funny. My nephew, one of my nephews, Jalen, my sister Angie's son, told
okay.
because we have this family call every 2 weeks now, we have a family, Winans family call, right? Everybody on the phone, my mom and everybody, because we're all over the place. And my oldest son lives in Australia, and so we're all over the place. And so we have this family call. My nephew told me at the beginning of one of the calls, he said, they call me Butch, right? So I'm going to put that out there. He said, Uncle Butch, you got the greatest falsetto in the world. And so I just laughed. I said, man, no, I don't. He said, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Who's better than you? I said, man, there's a few people better than me. I love Howard Hewitt. I think Howard Hewitt is phenomenal. Yeah. And back in the day, I don't know if the Dramatics, because they were from Detroit.
Yeah.
I love Ron Banks.
I know where you go.
Oh yeah, I love.
I know where you going.
So, but there was a guy in our early start of before we really became the Winans, or the Testimonial Singers. It was myself, Marvin, Ronald, and a young man by the name of Howard Smith.
Okay.
And when Howard joined our group, he had the killer falsetto of life. I don't even think I was doing falsetto at the time. I was doing different harmonies. But I would listen to him and forget my part because he was so good. He was so good. Funny thing, he was so entangled with Marvin's voice. He was trying to sound like Marvin. And why are you doing that, man? Your falsetto's a killer, So I started doing falsetto and listening to him and putting my little, next thing you know, after he left the group, I just kind of took that over.
Took over with it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, man. And that's, you know what? That's the uniqueness of your family, from you to Marvin, even when Ronald, BB, every one thing I always say about BB, it seems like BB you don't have to warm up. Like you just give BB the mic and boom. It's like, man, he ain't warm up or nothing. He just started singing. And so
well, we all used to be able to just wake up and do that. I was, when I was preparing for this solo record, I used to be able to get up and just sing When You Cry, and Tomorrow, like nobody's business. I don't care if it was 6 a.m,
Right.
But now you do have to warm up a little bit.
Got to warm up.
And believe it or not, BB, he has to warm up a little bit. He got to warm up a little bit.
So let me ask you a question here, because I just want to know, how did you deal with the passing of your brother, Ron? And because with all of you guys, and because I remember for me, what happened was you guys did a special on TBN,
right?
And he didn't pass. I think he was like 5 minutes on the operating table.
Yeah.
And came back, and all you guys was there. And so the heartbreak for me was my baby sister, we're 12 years apart.
Right.
And so she looked at me, right, and she was like, why God didn't do that for Daddy? Because my father had just passed.
Right.
And so, my mom and I had to comfort her, and I was watching you guys' testimony, and I was, rooting for you guys and everything. And then when he did pass, I said, man, that's, when you're dealing with a sibling,
Yeah.
And so I wanted to know, how was that for you guys? And, how did you guys get through that?
Man, it was tough. It was tough because, like you said, my whole career, not only did we just grow up together,
right,
but we had a career together, right?
Right.
And so all my life, I was with Ronald, Michael, and Mark, And so I remember Ron got sick. I think we were doing it wasn't TBN, it was the 700 Club.
Okay.
In Virginia, and he was walking, from the stage, and he would stop, and he would walk. He would stop. He was having trouble breathing. So Marvin took him to the hospital when we got back to Detroit. Long story short, they saw he had a heart problem. The doctor was giving up, period. They called everybody to the hospital. Some of my sisters who live in Nashville, they flew in, and they gave up. He was like, we're not going to operate. Just come say your goodbyes and all that. And then one day he came to the hospital. He said, I was taking a shower. I decided, some said, just operate. He said, but I don't want your hopes to get up too high because he's not going to make it. And, we said, well, okay, But, we're a praying family. You know, we
Right.
in God, we believe in what we pray for. And so we was at the hospital. They came to operate. We were there round the clock, you know. And so I think it was like 16 hours they operated. And then the doctor came out, he's dripping in sweat, and he comes over, he gets the main part of the family because there's so many people there at the
Sure.
hospital. And he tells us, he gathers us in the chapel, and he says, look, I tried, but he didn't respond. So I'm gonna go back and try one more time. If he doesn't respond, I'm gonna call him. So my dad said, all right, before you go back in, can I pray for your hands? So the doctor said, sure. So he took the doctor's hand, he prayed for the doctor's hand. Doctor went in, I think maybe another 6 hours, came back. He's like, I don't know who y'all was praying to, but it worked. You know, he said, but don't expect him to be able to sing no more. He won't be able to tour. Well, Ronald did all that. He did a solo record.
He was just full of joy, huh?
He did all of that. And so when the time came, you know, I'm gonna tell you the truth though, that I think, you know, I think he probably, because he was on so many different pills too, because of your heart surgery and all that, he may have just wanted to check out of here. You know, I don't know. But last time I saw him, when he went to the hospital, he had all these machines hooked up to him. And so I went in, I think I went in late because I didn't want to be there with nobody. I just wanted to be there with Ron. And I went in and he looked up, he was asleep, he looked up, said, hey, boy, how you doing? I said, man, I said, what is all this stuff? There's so many wires. He said, I don't know. I said, well, Ron, I ain't gonna talk you too much. I just sit down and sit with you for a while. So I sat there, watched the TV, and I thought he was dozing off to sleep. So I was there for about an hour or so, and I got up to leave. And when I got to the door, he called my name. He said, and I turned around. When I turned around, all he said was, I'm not scared.
Wow.
And I walked on my way to the car.
Uh-huh.
Cried because I felt like I would not see him alive again, and I didn't. Because after I got home today, my mom called, said, get back to the hospital, you know, and that was it. I may have been the last person he even talked to, you know. But it was tough for all of us, man. It was just, and God is the only one that can really get, if you have an experience of losing a loved one, you don't really know.
Yeah.
When you have experienced it and your faith is in God, then you know
Yeah.
He's the only one that can get you through that. Because that's something you just never forget. Even when my dad passed, Ronald, my dad, my grandmother, it was like, you know, you don't get over that, but His grace is what gets you through it.
I'm glad you said that because I lost my mom in 2017, and
Yeah.
I was the last one to see her. And what's funny is your family with that situation with Ron helped my family.
Yeah.
And let me tell you how it helped. So when you guys did like say the 700 or TBN, and I remember Ron came on
Right.
and he said, he told God, he said, just let me breathe so I can praise your name.
Yeah.
And so my aunt Rena, when it came time for her, she was sick, had fluid built up in her lungs and all this other kind of stuff. And she couldn't talk. And I went in there and I said, you need to do what Ronald Winans did. And you know what? She got out the hospital, had an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
And they said to her, no, you don't need to go to church. You need to stay home. And
Right.
she got to go to church one more time and give him some praise.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
and I like what you said because I've been saying it since my mom passed. I said, you don't get over it. You just find how to go on. You
That's
find
right.
how to get your legs under you and walk.
That's right.
Go with Jesus. And that's why I asked that question because you got see people, and I know you know this.
Yeah.
People expect the Winans to be strong
Yeah.
24/7. Like you
24/7.
to
That's not
like,
human.
right. Like you don't hurt, you don't cry. Oh, they all right. They got faith. They got faith. They good.
Man, I was telling my wife, I was like, the other day, I just felt like crying because I thought about my dad, and it's like, man, I miss him. You know. So you'll have those days.
Yep.
Yeah, most of the time you'll be strong, but then you have those days, be like, oh my gosh, you know, they ain't here, and it's been years ago. You know,
And it hits you. It just hits you.
it hits you. That's just how it is, you know. But you reflect on those, and then sometimes you think about it, you laugh because something they
Yep.
said or something that they did, you know. Because
Yep.
my dad was very common, you know. And then we were looking at when the family did the tour, world tour. I think we were in Holland, right?
Mhm.
And Ron was on stage and singing. I was like, man, this is, you know, it brings back so many memories. But again, God gets you through it all. He really does.
So, what we before we started recording, I said the song "Misunderstood."
Yeah,
The
yeah.
reason I said it reminded me of the song that blessed me that Donald Lawrence wrote for Leandra, um, "Deliver Me."
Uh-huh.
Is when I was listening to, because that's kind of been my life testimony, but then your song "Misunderstood." What inspired that?
Well, misunderstood is a couple of things. When we were working in the studio on that song, my wife and we were in LA working with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Okay.
And we had worked on one song. I think we did 3 songs with them, 2 or 3. And we worked on one song, went back to the studio because they'd given us, excuse me, they had given us a track to listen to. So it was kind of late, got back to the hotel room. We listened to the track. I couldn't hear nothing on this track, Otis. I
Okay.
couldn't hear no direction. I'm listening to
Okay.
it. So I was about to go to sleep. I was getting kind of frustrated. I was tired. So I asked my wife, I said, look, I said, listen to the track. Tell me if you hear anything. I don't care if it's a title. I don't care what it is. Just, you know, give me something.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to it. First thing she said was, misunderstood. I said, wow. When she said that, like a light went off in my head, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I can go to sleep now. So next morning, we started writing to it. And so what came to me all my career, if you listen to the Winans, Marvin was prime the I would say the lead writer of pretty much
Mm-hmm.
all of our albums. Our first 3 albums, he had like 9 songs. I think I had one on each of those first 3. And then when God gave me Tomorrow, that was kind of like the jackpots, just like open up everything. But during that time, it was so tough to write for me for the Winans. And I say the Winans because when you're writing, you're kind of on the outside looking in because you want to get on this record as a writer. And
Right.
so we would come together and play different songs and stuff. And so every time it would come for me to present my song, right?
Right.
Marvin and Ronald, because they called me like the R&B writer. That's what they would call me. They would roll up. They said, hold on, wait. I said, okay, I'm going to play my songs now, see if y'all like them. And they said, hold up, hold up. And so they would take this paper out and roll it up like it was a cigarette or something. And then they was lighting and they said, okay, play your stuff. Really? Really? So it was like they just didn't understand me, you know,
Right.
where I was coming from in my melodies and my lyrics. And so I
Sure.
always felt like I was misunderstood by them. I didn't let it, you know, turn me away or discourage me from writing, but I knew they just didn't understand me. And so some of that misunderstood comes from my whole career, my family not really understanding, you know, my gift when it came to writing and what I was trying to put out there, what message I was trying. So, you know, when I thought about all of that, you know, and I figure it's a lot of people that who live in families and their families don't really get them. You know, they don't understand them. You know, it's a lot of people just out here and they mean well, they're just misunderstood, you know. And so God began to give us all these lyrics to the song and it really became one of my favorites on this solo project.
It blessed me because it like you said, it spoke to me, just like you
Yeah.
said, Miss, you're not who people think you are. It's
Right.
like they have a percent. And then you said
Right.
something in the line though that's internal,
Right.
which is I'm still trying to please the crowd. So I'm
Right.
trying to show you me,
Yeah.
but because you're rejecting who I really am, then I'm trying to please you in another
Right.
way, and it's misunderstood.
That's
I
you
I
got
get. I told you it spoke to
you
me.
got it.
I get it. I get it.
You got
I
it.
get
You
it.
got it, man.
So I thank you for that song. I
You
thank you
welcome.
for
You
that.
welcome.
I just have well, you already touched on tomorrow, so I had to quit, but that's no. I just wanted to know what inspired it, because even before
You talking about tomorrow?
tomorrow, yeah.
I tell you, tomorrow again. It was writing for the next album, and I got to the point where I was pretty scared to even present stuff to my brothers, and so I started writing tomorrow, and so I remember calling Marvin and on the phone. I said, "Man, I heard this song." I said, "I heard this song. Tell me what you think." Jesus said, "Here I stand. Won't you please let me in?" And you said, "I will tomorrow." Jesus said, "I am He who supplies all your needs." And you said, "I know, but tomorrow, I'll give my life tomorrow.
Beautiful.
What about today?" So I'm doing that. And
Right.
when I got through, he was like, "Man, that's great. Who wrote that?" So
Oh,
I
man.
did.
Oh,
He said, "Are you kidding?" I said, "No, I did." So I was so excited because but I had to kind of like sneak that in.
right.
But and then we had another song that we were trying to do. You'll like this story. We were presenting for, I think it was for the Winans Decisions album,
Okay.
the one that we did in Anita Baker and Anita Williams. So I
Oh
was
yeah.
presenting songs for that. So I presented my song, and the song was "Make It Like It Was the Way It Used to Be," and the hunger for. So they said, "That's nice, but I think we'll pass." I said, "You're gonna pass on this?" "We're gonna pass." I said, "Really?" Well, at this point, I was like, "Okay, that's what y'all want to do," but I'll always keep the demo tapes on me. So when
Right.
I ran into Regina Bell, I said, "Check this out," because I knew she was getting ready to do an album.
Uh-huh.
She went back home. She called me. She played it for CBS, and she said, "Carvin, they love it. It's gonna be on the record." Well, the rest was history. The funny thing, it went number one R&B, but I wrote it, and the thing about "Make It Like It Was," I wrote it from a perspective of I wasn't where I wanted to be in my walk with Christ. That's what the song is about, right?
Right.
And so it went number one R&B. I remember we knocked Quincy Jones out of number one spot. I think he had Ray Charles and Chaka Khan.
Okay.
"Be Good to You," and we knocked them
Oh,
out the number one spot. So when Marvin and Ronald heard the song, we were on tour. We were in a limo going to the venue, and "Make It Like It Was" came on the radio.
uh-huh.
So they had the nerve to say to me, "Why didn't you write that for why didn't you write something like that for us?" I said, "Are y'all kidding? I did. I turned it down. And so it went number one. I just laughed.
I know
But
you did. I know you had a little.
I
eh,
laughed.
I know you had that. Hey, I told y'all listen to me. I
I
tried to tell
think
you. Y'all ain't only gifted one in the family. I'm just
right.
saying.
I don't think I told you so, but I wanted to say that. But it was good. And I think after that, Marvin was like, "Man, we can't mess with him no more. We gotta everything he said, we gotta listen to.
We gotta really listen to it.
Really listen to it."
I got just two more questions for you. So, how does it make you feel to with your son following in your footsteps, and then when your daughter ventured out, into acting and got on a hit, TV show? How does that? I mean, I know you're proud of all your kids,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah,
just
I am. I have 6 kids. Uh, Carvin, who was in phase 2, Carvin and Juan,
correct, yeah,
all my 2 nephews. And so I knew that their talent was there. Carvin, Juan, then Joy. I knew, the funny thing about Joy, I knew she could act. But
okay,
then she started singing on the show, which
yes,
kind of shocked me because she never sung when she was little, you know. And then I have Ian, who is aspiring to be a comedian.
okay,
And then I have Shania, who just graduated from Michigan State, and she's in athletic
Okay.
training. And then my youngest is 15. And I'm gonna tell you, well, Juan is an incredible singer too. And my daughter-in-law, his wife Lisa. Uh, but my youngest Layla, she doesn't really, she hasn't really embraced it yet. But I think she's gonna be something special too when it comes to.
Oh yeah, that's that's a prerequisite.
Yeah.
If you can't sing, you better at least write.
It's so much, and I'm proud of all of them. I think Joy has done an incredible job. Juan and Lisa were on the show. I think they presented a song that Boys to Men is recording.
Okay.
It's some show, some TV show. I forget the name of it, but I'm proud of all of them, man. My oldest, after the phase 2 career, he went to Harvard and got his degree.
Wow.
I've been blessed. I've really been blessed, and again, like my wife Cherie, I found that gem in her when it came to songwriting, and she worked with me so diligently on this solo project.
That's a prerequisite. You can't be fooling with no wine.
No. Like she also designed my album cover.
See?
And she did all of that. So it's just so much fun. Again, my hat was off, Stevie and Kenny G, they did me so proud just to be a part of my solo thing. I was so happy to have them involved, and like the producers. I think Tommy Sims is a genius, and everybody we worked with as far as producers, I think, are geniuses. So it was fun, Otis. I had a blast. I thank God that I've always wanted to do a solo record, but I felt like I needed to go as far with the Winans as I could. Sure. And when God took Ron from us, pretty much the Winans was over with. And so I was like, this is the time. He was letting me know this is time to reach out there. My next thing I want to do, put this out there.
All right.
Is a twin album. I want to do and Carvin album. Ooh. Tell people so. Well,
hey.
Tell people we gonna find out who the better singer is.
Oh man. Hey, well look here. Go ahead and name the album Double Take.
I like that, Otis. I like that.
Just tell Marvin, just tell Bishop. I just give me, just consulting credit. I don't need no money. Man. I just want to say my name on the album with the wine.
Well, I already know who the better singer is. It's him. But I just want to throw that out there to stir him up.
Oh man, all you guys are talented.
I really want to do a twin album. I think we have a lot to offer because our voices are different in ways, a little same in ways, but so different in ways too. And so I think we would have a lot to offer.
It would, yeah. That would be great. I hope y'all get that done. That would be great.
Yeah.
My last question for you, and it's a very simple question. The same thing I asked Mervyn Warren, which is, what makes Carvin happy?
What makes me happy is God. God is what makes me happy. Every single day that I'm blessed to wake up and breathe and have my family around me. Mom is still here with us. My wife, all of my children. I have grandchildren now, beautiful grandchildren. 4. Juan has 1. Carvin has 3. All my brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews, my grandnieces and nephews, my in-laws. It's just God and the people, the family that He has surrounded you with.
Right.
Just makes me. I can't imagine living life without Christ in my life. I can't imagine it. And then to have Him in my life and the family that He has put around me, I just feel so blessed every single day. I'm blessed to wake up.
Same here, man. Without Christ, with Christ, all things are possible.
All things are possible. And I don't know how you can't be happy without, It's just the song, and I think we touch on it a little bit in the song that Stevie plays on. If you only knew my heart, right?
Uh-huh.
And so it's impossible to know God and really have that relationship with Him and not be happy. That's impossible.
That's impossible.
Yeah, that's
Because
impossible.
you're gonna forever in His presence, you forever change. You
That's right.
forever change. I would love to get you back on the show.
Oh man, I would
And
love it.
watch this, and match you up on the show with Najee.
Hey, I would love it. I love Najee.
So
Najee is a super talented, and he's just a super guy.
yes,
Super
you know
nice.
he played. Well, you saw it. He played the
Yeah,
flute.
yeah, I saw.
I,
He killed it.
about to put a request in.
Yeah, put it in. I'll sing it. He'll play. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm
I
gonna
love
work on.
Najee.
We'll work on that based on your schedule, his schedule, and we'll
Okay.
work on that. Please stay safe out here and stay blessed as you are. And I'll be in touch.
All right, and I wish you all the best, Otis. Thank you so much for having me.
Peace.
All right.